What if I told you that right now, in many cases, you can get a seller to pay you up to $15,000 to $20,000 to buy their house? Hi, this is Todd Baker, DFW Mortgage Master, and in this week's Todd Talks video, I want to go over concessions, what they are and how to best apply them. And I want to point something out. We spent the last decade in which it was such an extreme seller's market that in most cases, your negotiation strategy was how to beat the other couple or the other person in winning the contract. Things have changed. With rates going up, there's more buyers on the sideline, there's fewer buyers out there, but inventory is still low. And there are sellers that have to sell because of divorce, because they're getting married, because they've had kids, because they have to locate closer to work, because they want to move out to the country. There's about 8 or 10 reasons why right now, and really in any market, that people want to move. And there's sellers that want to sell, and they still have they've had these huge price gains. Prices have stayed really stable, but there's enough flexibility to negotiate with the seller. So traditionally, as a consumer, and even most real estate agents, what they'll say is, I can get you a good deal on the price. What I'm going to show you, if you can take a 3% concession, that means if the seller's willing to give you 3% of the price towards either a lower price, so 3% of the list price off the price, or do we use it towards paying closing costs? Which one is more effective? So let's show you how it works first. So first off, these are closing. This is a chart of closing costs. So for a conventional loan, if you put 3% down up to 10%, you get, so up to 10% down, the maximum the seller's allowed to contribute is 3% of the purchase price. But if you go to 10 to 25, it's 6%, and more than 25, it's 9%. That's a lot of money that you can use to not only pay your closing costs, but even buy the rate down or do a payment subsidy. FHA will allow 6%, VA allows 4%, USDA 6%, and then for a rental property, you're capped at 2%, which you should always take. And on VA, there is a caveat. VA actually has 4% plus reasonable costs associated with the loan. So basically all the normal costs for your loan, and I just don't mean your loan, but I mean the taxes, insurance, the title, all that stuff can be paid plus an additional 4%. So if you have a flexible seller and you have a veteran, maybe they have to pay off some credit card debt or maybe a judgment or a tax lien, that could actually be worked into the deal using a concession. That's an important thing. Most lenders don't even know that. So let's show you now, I want to show you what it looks like, price concession versus closing cost concession. I did this total cost analysis with an assumed sales price of $550. I did 5% down. Today's interest rates were hovering right around 7%. Ours are a little bit better, so I did 6.875 just for an example. And I'm showing you side by side, if we take 3% and play it towards closing, or the price reduction, you're going to pay, it's $550, okay? Your payment's $46.32, and your cash to close is $50,473. Now, let's say we go with the list price, which is the actual list price is $565. So 3% is 15 grand. We get a lower purchase price. But let's say we take it as a closing cost credit. Now you're out of pocket 35 grand. Your payment's relatively the same. It's $100 higher, but you got $15,000 of lower closing costs. Okay. And then I did a last one was, what if you did the seller credit, took the $15,000 and bought the rate down? Did like an extreme rate buy down all the way to 6%, so you're at 45,000. What does that do? Well, let's look. Over 12 months, the price concession stays 14 grand and 9 grand respectively, depending on which one we go to. And then your net worth is even higher. And the reason is because the cost isn't just the price you pay for the house. It's everything. You have to take into consideration the house, the purchase price, your net out-of-pocket closing, and not just a down payment, but the cash to close, the interest rate, and how that affects it over time. I didn't show you here, but we have 1 and 2 and 3 year payment subsidies we can do with that money as well to give you a very powerful low payment for the first several years in the house. Builders have been doing this for the last 18 months and killing it, offering huge incentives. Now they're starting to pull back, but the existing sellers are now starting to realize, hey, my house might be worth $565, but rather than letting it sit there for 60 or 80 or 100 days, I might be willing to give up a little bit to sell it now. And what you want to look for is first, connect with me. We'll build you the right plan. Then we'll connect over to your realtor, and that's the strategy. Is we want to negotiate. We'll do a plan subject to the house, but what you want to look for is what I started to say. Is days on market. If you find the perfect house to get listed on Thursday, most listings go live on a Thursday for the weekend showing. That's not a flexible seller. But give that seller 2 weeks. If it sits there, and you'll have a flexible seller. The longer it goes, the more panic they get, because people in Texas have been used to, and sellers have been used to selling houses within the first 2 weekends for almost a decade. So even though we're still in a seller's market where the average days on market is 57, that's the current average to sell a house. When you're a seller used to like 14 days, 57 seems like a long time. And it's a great way for you to negotiate a deal on a house and get a concession that you can put to your advantage. So if you have any questions, reach out to me, and I hope you have a great day.